Welcome to Cannabis with Class. My name is Jessica, and today I want to talk about hemp and cannabis tinctures. So, first of all, what the heck is a tincture? A tincture is going to be when they use a hemp or cannabis plant material, and it's going to be infused into some sort of a base, an excipient, such as a grain, alcohol, glycerine, olive oil, and MCT oil are most common types of excipients that the plant has been extracted and infused into. So, why would you want to even use a tincture? For me, like this is my favorite route of administration and the best way to use the plant material, just because one, it takes only 15 to 20 minutes to actually get into the bloodstream, and it can last for 4 to 6 hours depending on what you've eaten, the type of base that your excipient that the hemp or a cannabis flower was infused into, and also your actual endocannabinoid system. So everybody's going to be different, how they metabolize constituents into their body. So you're going to really have to take notes on what's going to work best for you. But so first of all, if you purchase a hemp or cannabis tincture, and I know a lot of people call them CBD oil, but let's be honest, there's more than just CBD that's in the products. I've only seen one specific product on the market, and actually my instructor Colleen Quinn, I feel like, is the only one that I've seen on the market that's an actual CBD isolate infused in an oil. So most of them are actually going to contain all the aerial plant parts that have been infused into it. And so how you're going to actually know is if you look at the certificate of analysis. So a company should be providing those on their website, or if you're in the dispensary, they should be available. I say should because they should, but unfortunately, even where I live, I can't get a medical tincture with seeing the certificate of analysis. So I really don't know exactly what's in everything that's in that specific tincture. So with this brand, this is hemp, and this is all the aerial parts, and it's extra strength, so they have added more CBD isolate to it. So it's at 2,000 milligrams per milliliter. So how do you know what you should take? If you purchase them, they should come with a dosing guide, which is going to show how much of that specific cannabinoid, let's say this one's based more so for taking CBD, of how much CBD is going to be in each line of the calibrated dropper of the milliliters. So one thing that I really like about Rosebud, and I'm not affiliate to this product line, it's going to be really hard to see, but this calibrated dropper is actually etched into the glass, which is a really important thing because this is one that I had just purchased. It's probably kind of hard to see. This has paint on it. Why this is I shouldn't say an issue, but really kind of is, depending on where you get these droppers or where your supplier is getting their droppers, it has been found, as I've listened to labs that actually test and create the certificates of analysis of the products, they're finding that before the product goes on the shelf, it doesn't contain lead. But once it's been sitting on the shelf for a specific amount of time, all of a sudden when they retest that exact same product, that they're finding lead to be present. And so the only thing that they can really think of what's happening is that the terpenes that are in the plant material that was infused into this is actually pulling out the lead from the paint. So the fact that this one is etched is a huge deal to me, even though it's kind of hard to see. So if you're one of those people you can't see very close, find a flashlight, put it up against the window, or you're kind of able to eyeball what 0.25, 0.5, 0.75, and 1 milliliter is what that looks like on your dropper. So even if you're hard to see, you can kind of monitor on your actual dropper of what that number might actually be. So how you actually use it, always start low and go slow. So don't think more is better. More is not going to be better. It's like if you were to drink this whole thing, that's not going to be better than taking 0.25 milliliters, which is from here to here. So start slow. It's amazing how much a little goes a long ways. Plus, this is expensive. Let's be honest. If you want to waste $235 plus and drink the whole thing, it's not going to be beneficial, and you've really wasted your money because it's not going to be better. It's almost like taking conditioner. Are you going to use a dime size or a nickel amount of conditioner throughout your hair, or are you going to dump the whole thing on your hair? It's not going to be more effective. So how you use it, you're going to start low. I would suggest eating something that's like a fatty meal, like cheese, anything with fat content, meat, because it's going to stay in the system, in the bloodstream longer, because this is fat loving. So cannabis is a plant or a fat loving molecule. So the one thing about tinctures that are glycerine or alcohol based, the cannabinoids and terpenes are going to be actually come out of that quicker. But if you actually have it in a fat, an oil based, it's going to stay into your system longer and be more effective. Plus, I'm not actually a fan of the alcohol based one, because if you're a recovering alcoholic, we just don't want you to even have to go there, even if it's a little bit, or a recovering alcoholic. But two, because the consistent putting it underneath the tongue or on the gum line can eventually irritate the mucosal line. So let's just, if you do have an alcohol-based tincture, I would just do it on different parts of underneath your tongue, just so it's not in the consistent same spot that you're dropping it all the time, just to help prevent irritating your mucosa. So how you actually use this. So first you're going to use that calibrated dropper. You're going to squeeze the top here, let it bring up the liquid, and because we want to start with 0.25, we're just going to drop that down to that first line, and then you're just going to drop it underneath your tongue. And then you're going to hold it for 30 seconds to a minute. So try not to swallow it. If you do, that's okay, but you want to let it penetrate into the bloodstream of all those nice vessels that are right underneath the tongue. So let that absorb, and then go ahead and swallow. Obviously, you're going to end up probably swallowing quicker, but those cannabinoids and terpenoids are going to be penetrating into the bloodstream. Again, this is effective 15 to 20 minutes to take effect, to get into the bloodstream. The nice thing is it doesn't go to the liver, so you're not going to get first pass metabolism. So you're going to get the immediate benefits of everything that's in here right away in its full form. It's not going to be broken down and metabolized in the liver as if you were to take a gummy or any kind of edible. When you eat that, it takes longer to get into the bloodstream, and when it does, like I said, get to the liver, it's going to break it down and metabolize every single one of those little cannabinoids and terpenoids and create metabolites of them. So this is going to be effective because it's going to be getting into the bloodstream quicker, and it's going to be into the full form. You want to try dose as consistent as you can, knowing that this is going to be into your bloodstream for around 4 to 6 hours. Start by doing 3 times a day, and if it's not helping you, I would actually, there's 2 ways to do this. So you can either dose another time throughout the day, so dosing in the morning, 4 hours later, between 4, 5, 6 hours later throughout the day, and then if you need, like I said, more, add in another dose, so cut that time in between shorter before you move up to a higher dose, meaning, I dropped my other doser here. Or actually, let me grab the dosing guide. So instead of doing just the 0.25 4 times a day, you could increase to the 0.5 milliliters and do it less. So say 3 times a day. For me, what I found to be effective was keeping it at the 0.25 milliliters, and I actually was up to 6 doses a day to keep me from my chronic pain, my chronic muscle spasms, the anxiety that I was getting, knowing when is that muscle spasm going to take place. And also I was dealing with PTSD. So just little things throughout the day I found would be triggering. So for me, I found what was going to be more effective was dosing the lower dose more times throughout the day. So it's really important for you to journal how you feel and how it's helping you, so that you know if you need to bump up to a higher dose, or if you just need to stay at that same low dose, meaning the to 5 milliliters and just do it more times throughout the day. So write it down. How did you feel? Ask the people around you, because obviously if you're dealing with pain or any kind of health, mental, psychological issue, trust me, people around you can notice if your dose is helping or not. So again, I would stay consistent on top of your dose. I would even, one mistake that I made was I wasn't setting my phone alarm so that I could keep up on top of it every 3-4 hours. And so if you miss your dose, it's hard to try play catch up. So I would recommend setting the alarm on your phone so that you can dose on time and stay ahead of your pain or your condition, nausea, migraines, whatever it is. It's best to stay ahead of it than try to play catch up. It's just kind of like pain medication. If you've had surgery and you weren't taking your painkillers and you were feeling great because you were dosing on time, and then all of a sudden you stopped, you went because you went to bed and you were sleeping, all of a sudden you woke up and you're back into chronic pain. This is why. So try to stay above the issue of whatever you're using the cannabis or hemp tincture for. Write down how you're taking it, what foods you're taking it, your mental mood, your physical body, how it's feeling, so that you know, hey, do I need to change my tincture to a different type, or do I just need to dose differently? So monitor it. Like I said, go slow, start with a lower dose. With adding, I would add one more time throughout the day before I bumped up to a higher milliliter, meaning milligrams of the CBD or THC or whatever cannabinoid that you are using your tincture specifically for. Monitor it, because that's the main thing, and then just stay on top of your dosing. Like I said, if you need somebody to set their alarm for you or you set it for yourself, it's important to stay ahead of it and stay consistent, because if you do it one time, you're not going to have effective results. I hope you learned something. Purchase my book on Take Me to the Dispensary, your quick guide to purchasing hemp and cannabis products, where you can learn all about dosing in your therapeutic window, and how to sublingually take the tincture, and just, again, what's in the tincture that you purchased, and so how it can help benefit you. Happy healing.